Hi everyone, this is Dream Mom's son Jason. To briefly introduce myself, I study mathematics at Imperial College London and statistics as my master's degree at University of Oxford.
수학을 진짜 잘하고 싶은 친구들에게 알려주고 싶은 꿀팁이 있다면서요?
To be truly good in math, I think two things must come in hand. First, mechanical practice, and second, critical thinking skills. Students often make simple calculation errors when taking their exams, but in reality, the nature of exams is unforgiving. You don't get partial credits just by making simple calculation errors. So what students should do then is to reduce the frequency of making such mistakes. And this requires a high volume of practice, solving lots and lots of problems, and also evaluating why you got those questions wrong. So this is where I highly recommend using a thing called error log. So the way it works is like this. You first write down the problems that you got wrong initially, and then you come back later and solve it again. If you still get those questions wrong, you add it up back onto your error log, and so on. So me personally, what I did was I just kept repeating this until I got all of those questions correct. And at the same time, you also need critical thinking skills. Instead of just applying the same formulas blindly, you also need to ask yourself, is there an alternative way to do this? Because not all questions follow the same pattern. There will be challenging questions that requires additional approach. And so to tackle these challenging questions, although it might take some extra time, you should practice on first figuring out how the previous algorithm works on your problem, and then second, figuring out if you can think of any alternative solutions. Anyone who might be interested in research later, these skill sets will be a huge asset to you.
영어도 많이들 궁금해하시는데요. 후배들에게 이것만큼은 꼭 해보라고 추천하는 영어 공부법이 있을까요?
Although people say AI translation in real time will soon be possible, I think there will be certain things that will remain the same, such as the atmosphere, the tone, and the emotions. Because if you think about it, listening and speaking directly is actually really different from speaking, for example, while looking at a screen on your smart glasses. So, and these nuances can only be picked up by being directly exposed to these foreign culture. So it's like making friends. Just as we make friends who share more common interests, being able to get along and communicate with foreigners more fluently requires understanding the culture beyond just overcoming the language. So I recommend students to be exposed to these conversational English as well as much as exam-oriented English skills. So one good way I highly recommend is to watch foreign TV shows. And please note, don't just watch them for entertainment, approach them as if you're actually studying them. So pay close attention to their dialogues, their gestures, their facial expressions. Take notes on memorable lines, phrases, and practice speaking out them out loud. And trust me, this will make a huge difference to you.
국제학술지 논문 통과로 덴마크로 출국을 간다고 들었어요. 학술 대회나 수행평가를 준비하는 중고등학생들을 위해서 소논문 어떻게 하면 잘 쓸 수 있을까요?
Doing research requires three key elements, I think. So you first need a research idea that has a certain novel idea. Second, you need to be in a physical environment where you can validate and experiment your idea. And last thing, you also need to articulate well enough so that the readers can understand your manuscript. So the first and third elements are things that students can overcome with their own abilities, but the second element is a bit tricky because those in physical environment where you can actually experiment your idea is sort of limited either to institutions or research labs. So for students who want to do research, I recommend them to first search for professors or school advisors who are in the field and then approach them directly. When you reach out to them, you should be able to pitch yourself saying something like, oh, I have this certain idea and I would love to test my idea at your research lab. And of course, to grab more of their attention, you will need a solid portfolio and a nice research proposal. Finally, to write a good script, you should also read lots and lots of papers, because by understanding the recent studies in your field, you can sort of figure out their limitations, and that kind of naturally gives you a new research idea. And also reading lots of papers will help you to later write your paper in a proper academic structure and tone.
학창 시절에 부모님이 해주신 것 중에서 가장 도움이 됐던 건 어떤 게 있나요?
The most important thing that parents can do for their children's education, I think, is to provide a good educational environment. So personally, while I was growing up, my parents and I sort of moved a lot around good school districts known for good education. So I sort of joke around saying we could have moved a bit less, but looking back, being in a good environment really allowed me to meet amazing people. So having good friends around you really sets you in a good track, and it's also nice because even nowadays as adults we always motivate each other to stay positive in our respective fields. As I get older and older, I think I'm feeling more grateful to my parents who enabled me to have these experiences.
이제 끝으로 후배들에게 선배로서 해주고 싶은 조언이 있다면은요?
To completely be honest, I wasn't really good at math up until 3rd grade. I still vividly remember struggling in additions and subtractions. Then I met this amazing tutor who really set me up to a different level. So my advice is to not give up so easily, whatever the outcome is. Because you see, life actually doesn't progress linearly. It actually progresses in the form of steps. So it's not just in academics, but to excel in anything, as a matter of fact, the thing that is really important is your persistence. Because even though you might be talented in certain area, which you will, but you should know how to remain humble and maintain the consistent drive, because talent itself cannot set you up until a certain level. So even if it might take time, don't get impatient. Find your parents, find your tutors who can provide you help. And also, most importantly, keep reminding yourself what you really want to do and try figuring out how to achieve it. So this will be my overall advice, and I wish you all best of luck.